We praise strength everywhere. We admire the ones who keep going, the ones who don't complain, the ones who always seem to have it together. They're called reliable, stable, strong. They're the ones people lean on, the ones expected to handle pressure without cracking, the ones who show up even when they're running on empty. But what we don't talk about is how exhausting that strength can be. Not physical exhaustion, emotional exhaustion. The kind that doesn't come from working too hard, but from holding too much inside. Because emotional effort is invisible. No one sees the constant self-control, the way you choose your words carefully every single time, the way you stay calm when everything inside you wants to scream. No one sees the swallowed feelings, the disappointment you bury, the anger you turn inward, the sadness you postpone because now isn't the right time. No one sees the quiet battles fought behind a calm expression. You smile, you nod, you say, "I'm fine," and people believe you because you've trained them to. You've trained the world to expect strength from you, and slowly, without realizing it, that strength becomes your cage. Because when you're always the strong one, no one thinks to ask if you're okay. When you're always the helper, no one checks if you need help. When you're always holding things together, no one notices how close you are to falling apart. So you carry it alone. The expectations, the responsibility, the emotional weight of being the dependable one.
You listen to everyone else's problems. You absorb their stress. You offer advice, reassurance, comfort. And then, at the end of the day, you sit with your own thoughts in silence. Because you don't want to be a burden. Because you don't want to disappoint. Because you're afraid that if you stop being strong, you'll lose your value. But here's the truth no one tells you. Strength doesn't mean never struggling. Strength doesn't mean never breaking down. Strength doesn't mean carrying everything alone. Real strength is recognizing when the weight is too heavy. It's allowing yourself to feel what you've been suppressing. It's admitting that you're tired, that you're overwhelmed, that you're human. Because emotional exhaustion isn't weakness. It's the cost of caring deeply, of trying hard, of holding yourself together when life keeps pulling you apart. And the people carrying the most weight are often the ones least recognized for it. They're not loud about their pain. They don't ask for attention. They don't make scenes. They just endure. So if this feels familiar, if this sounds like you, let this be your reminder. You don't have to earn rest. You don't have to justify your feelings. You don't have to be strong all the time. You are allowed to put the weight down. You are allowed to ask for help. You are allowed to be seen, not just relied on. Because even the strongest people need somewhere safe to be soft. And that doesn't make you weak, it makes you real. From a young age, many of us are taught the same message. Handle it. Be resilient. Stay composed. Don't cry. Don't complain. Don't let it show. Crying is labeled as weakness. Asking for help feels like burdening others. And showing even the smallest crack is treated as proof that you're failing. So we adapt. We learn to swallow our reactions, to pause before every emotion, to turn discomfort into silence. We learn to wear strength like armor, a mask that says, "I'm fine," even when everything underneath is struggling. A performance that keeps life moving, keeps people comfortable, keeps questions away. Because as long as you look okay, no one asks what it's costing you. But armor is heavy, and wearing it every day slowly drains you. It rubs against your skin, it restricts your breathing. It turns rest into something you never quite reach. Because strength, when it's forced, costs energy. Not the kind that sleep fully restores, not the kind a weekend can fix. It's the energy spent monitoring yourself, managing reactions, holding back tears, keeping your voice steady when it wants to shake. And when vulnerability is forbidden, that cost compounds. Every unspoken feeling adds weight. Every ignored need stacks pressure. Every time you tell yourself, just get through it, you teach your body to stay tense, until even quiet moments feel exhausting. You're not tired because you're weak. You're tired because you've been strong for too long without permission to rest. Because real resilience isn't about never breaking. It's about knowing when to unarm, when to breathe, when to let someone else carry the weight with you. And the tragedy is this: most people don't realize they're exhausted until the armor finally cracks, until burnout replaces motivation, until numbness replaces feeling, until being fine becomes empty instead of reassuring. And when that happens, it's not failure, it's a signal that something inside you has been asking to be heard for a long time. Suppressing emotions doesn't make them disappear. It just pushes them inward. They don't fade. They don't resolve themselves. They wait. They settle into the body, into the mind, into the quiet moments you never fully relax in. Avoiding help slowly teaches you a dangerous lesson: that you must carry everything alone, that needing support is a personal failure, that silence is safer than honesty.
Always performing teaches you something else: that rest must be earned, that slowing down is a reward, not a necessity, that your worth is measured by how much you can endure. And over time, this way of living leaves marks: fatigue that sleep doesn't fix, a tiredness that lingers no matter how early you go to bed, a numbness that motivation can't touch, because it's not a lack of drive, it's a lack of emotional fuel. A loneliness that exists even when you're surrounded by people, even in conversations, even in laughter. Because no one is seeing the real you. They're seeing the version that performs strength flawlessly. Ironically, the strongest people often feel the most isolated, because everyone assumes they're okay. They've always been okay before. They always handle things. And they rarely correct that assumption, not because they're dishonest, but because they don't know how to say, "I'm not as strong as you think," without feeling like they're letting everyone down. Their struggles are unseen, unacknowledged, unshared. And unseen pain is some of the heaviest pain to carry. Because when pain is visible, it invites care. When it's invisible, it demands endurance. Being strong is not a flaw. Resilience is not the problem. The problem is pretending to be invincible. The problem is believing that strength means silence, that composure means denial, that breaking down means breaking completely. Strength doesn't mean never breaking. It means knowing when you're allowed to bend, when you're allowed to pause, when you're allowed to say, "This is hard," without apologizing for it. Acknowledging vulnerability isn't giving up control. It's reclaiming humanity. It's allowing yourself to exist without armor, even briefly, even imperfectly. Because vulnerability creates space. Space to breathe, space to heal, space for self-compassion instead of self-judgment. And from that space, a different kind of strength emerges. One that doesn't rely on constant self-denial. One that doesn't require you to disappear to survive. One that allows you to be strong and supported at the same time. That is not weakness. That is balance. Allow yourself moments of rest, without guilt. You don't have to earn recovery. You don't have to prove that you've handled enough. Rest is not a reward. It is not optional. It is essential. Share your feelings with someone safe, not for applause, not for validation, just for understanding. A quiet nod, a listening ear, a space where your weight can be set down even for a moment. Let yourself be seen as human, not unbreakable. Let yourself be messy. Let yourself be soft. Let yourself breathe. Because vulnerability doesn't weaken you.
It replenishes you. It restores the energy that pretending never did. Strength that lasts is not rigid. It doesn't crumble under pressure, but it bends, it adapts, it moves, it breathes. Like a tree in the wind, like water flowing through obstacles. It survives, not because it resists, but because it can change, yield, and recover. You are allowed to be both strong and fragile. You are allowed to carry burdens and lay them down. You are allowed to endure and heal. True strength doesn't demand silence. It doesn't demand invisibility. It allows itself to exist fully, to falter, to rise, to breathe, and to live. So if you feel exhausted today, if you feel worn down, if you feel like the weight is too much, know this: you are doing enough. You are enough. And being human is not a flaw. You are not weak. You are growing. You are healing. You are alive. And that is the greatest strength of all.